Hello, welcome to another video and welcome to another Jacqueline Wilson reading vlog. So this is going to be my penultimate Jacqueline Wilson reading vlog, and I am reading the historical books. So to recap, I've read Jacqueline Wilson books that were favourites from my childhood. I've read contemporaries, so books that were written contemporary to the time they were written. I've read YA, and now I'm reading the historicals. Of this stack of 4 that I have got here, only one of them have I read before, and it is one of my faves. So let's go through what the TBR for the week is. First off, The Lottie Project. I adore this book. It's one of my favourites. This is my childhood copy. You can see just how faded it is. It is very foxed and battered. I mean, there's actually a page with a hole in it. It is incredibly battered. The Lottie Project came out in '97. I love it. We follow Charlie, who is doing a project on the Victorians at school for a new teacher she doesn't really like, and she comes up with a story about Lottie, a Victorian sort of nursery maid. This book's absolutely adorable. Love it. The next one I'm going to read is Hetty Feather. This one I have not read before. I don't really know what it's about. The synopsis on the back, it just says, roll up for the amazing tale of Hetty Feather. Gasp as she is abandoned as a baby. Shudder at the hardships she suffers. Wonder at her search for her real mother. So I don't really know what it's about. I believe it is Victorian, following Hetty Feather, who sounds like she is like a foundling. I think this one is set in a foundling hospital in London, so looking forward to that one. Next I've got Opal Plumstead. This one follows Opal, who at 14 she must start work in a sweet factory. Oh, battery's about to die. Opal struggles to get along, but there is the suffragettes happening, and First World War is about to start. This is set in 1913, so I am excited to get to this one. And finally, can I get this in quickly? Sapphire Battersea, which is the sequel to Hetty Feather. Hetty Feather is actually quite a long series, but I've just got the first 2, so hopefully I'll enjoy book 1 and go on to book 2. Before my battery dies, that's my TBR. Let me know if you've read any of them, and then we're going to roll and see what I think as I read them. Bye. Hello, I have just finished reading The Lottie Project. Oh, this book is just so cute. Hey missus, you're very cute too. Get your news out. This has always been one of my favourite Jacqueline Wilson books. I really enjoy it. It's told in, I guess, a kind of dual timeline. Each chapter we hear is based on a specific theme. It tells a story of Charlie, who is from a single parent household. Her mum is very young, and at the beginning of the book her mum loses her job and has to end up getting other sort of temporary jobs, so she works, and one of those is she is a cleaner and nanny for this little boy. Charlie's always been like the popular girl in school as well, and you know, like everybody likes her, everybody wants to be her friend. So Charlie's mum and the little boy's dad end up dating. Charlie gets very, very jealous. The little boy runs away, gets very ill, and has a happy end. It's all good. So interspersed with Charlie's story, at school they're working on a project on the Victorians, and Charlie is working on a project about Lottie, the nursery maid, which I just love. So you'll have like Seaside. This is a chapter from Charlie's point of view, and then afterwards is Seaside, Lottie's chapter, and I just think it's told in a really fun way. This book made me cry. I love it. I think it's fantastic. But my next read will be Hetty Feather. I've never read this one before. I don't really know anything about it, but I'm excited. So I'm about halfway through, 200 pages through Hetty Feather. This book's so cute. I've realised it's actually a series, and I think according to Storygraph there's like 7 books in this series. I'm not entirely sure what the series is about, whether it follows Hetty the whole time. I think it does, and she sort of changes her name. I don't really understand. But it's super, super cute. So far we've met Hetty as a baby. She's been living with a foster family, and you know, she's very much like they are her family. Now at age 5, she's been sent back to the Foundling Hospital, and she is basically learning to get on with these other children and live in the Foundling Hospital. It's such a cute story. I really like Hetty. She has got such fun personality. Yeah, I'm having a really, really great time with that. It's, again, an incredibly quick, easy read, which I thought it would be anyway, but I'm having a really, really fun time. My camera's flashing. My dinner's about to be done, so I'm going to come back to you when I'm probably going to just come back when I finish. Hello, so next update. I have finished reading Hetty Feather. This book is so adorable. I love it. It's so cute. I really like her. I look like I've just got an egg head. I'm just going to put my hair down so I don't look like a hard-boiled egg. So yeah, I really like Hetty. I think she's really fun. She's got such a big personality. She reminds me of like a Tracy Beaker type personality. I really liked all of her adventures. I felt like while some of them were a bit kind of far-fetched, they all fit with her character. Because of course Hetty wanted to run away and join the circus. Obviously she did. Like, of course she did. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was really, really cute, really lovely. So that does mean that I'm on to my next Jacqueline Wilson book for this vlog, which will be Opal Plumstead, which is a chunky chunker. So yeah, we're going to move on to this one next. So far my historical ones, Lottie Project is set in like the 90s and a Victorian maid. Hetty Feather is set actually around Queen Victoria's Golden Jubilee, so the end of the 19th century, so it's set about 1880s-ish. Opal Plumstead is set 1913. It's set around World War One. So yeah, I am very excited to read this one. And again, on the cover, you've got things like Votes for Women in that corner. So I think there is going to be a certain amount of talk about like the suffragette movement as well, which is cool. Yeah, I'm excited to get to it. I do, well, so far I've found that I've really enjoyed the historical Jacqueline Wilson's. Actually, I would say more so than I've enjoyed the contemporary ones that were new to me and the teenage ones, which were a fail. So yes, I'm looking forward to Opal Plumstead. It's Sunday evening at the moment. I am watching Gavin's sprints. He is doing, once again, these sprints will end when he finishes all the books he has to finish. And he's estimating at the moment it's going to go on until about midnight. What I've been doing is reading 3 books. So I'm alternating each sprint which book I'm reading. Now I've just edited a video, so half of this sprint is done, but I am going to then pick up Ship of Magic. I am so close to finishing it. I then am also making progress in Wisdom of Crowds, but then I will be starting Opal Plumstead after that. Just because both Wisdom of Crowds and Ship of Magic are for book club reads that need to be done at the start of the month. It's a 25th today? 25th of August. So I don't have a huge amount of time left to finish those 2 big hefty fantasies. And I have already read 2 Jacqueline Wilson books for this vlog. So if I don't finish Opal Plumstead, it's not the end of the world. And if I don't get to the 4th book on this vlog, which is Saphir Battersea, which is the sequel to Hetty Feather, again, not going to be the end of the world. I would like to, but it's not going to matter too much if I don't. So I will... Opal Plumstead, like I said, is huge. I think this book's over 500 pages. It is over 500 pages. Not far over, but it's about 510 pages. 520 pages. Okay. I will again update you when I get to the 100-page mark and let you know my thoughts. But yeah, that's where we're at. So far, we're on a 2 for 2. Once again, I am crying at Jacqueline Wilson. It's Tuesday night. I've just finished reading Opal Plumstead. So this book... This book is really cute. Clearly it's a tearjerker. So it's set in like the 1910s, and at about nearly towards the, well, quite far towards the end, World War One breaks out. Opal has got a sweetheart, Morgan, who is the heir to the factory that she works in. And Morgan signs up. And this part, there is a part, I'm just going to show you the page because I literally took a photo of this page and sent it to my Jacqueline Wilson group and said, like, Jacqueline Wilson, you can't do this. You can't do this to us. I turned the page and I ended up in floods of tears. Oh, it was again just heartbreaking. Just heartbreaking. But I really liked that book. I've literally just the second, as you can probably still tell from the fact that I'm crying, I've just the second finished it. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I had a really, well, I say that it's fairly slow paced and there are parts which did kind of drag a little bit. But it did obviously make me cry at the end, and I think it's a really good historical fiction because it gives a different side. I feel like the 1910 pre-World War One period, first of all, I don't feel like that's a period that you see very often in children's literature. You do sometimes see the sort of, I was going to say the Enid Blyton-esque, but I think that's more like 20s. It's, to be honest, I feel like the 1910s are quite a strange time in history because we're out of the Victorian period, but we're not yet in the modern period. And it's that crossover of modernity, I'm going to go with. Where like in here, you know, we're talking about rights for women. And most people have, you know, people have got servants. It's still got a very Victorian feel. You know, the time period itself, the 1910s, is a very Victorian feel. But yet, the First World War comes and suddenly progress happens so quickly in terms of things like equality and stuff like that. You know, a lot of stuff still did not progress. So I think it's, I don't think, I'm trying to think now if I've read anything set in that period. The only thing I can think that I've seen set in that kind of 1910s period is Downton Abbey. Which actually sounds like a strange comparison because middle grade compared to Downton Abbey, like, no. But it's, I feel like there's a similarity in that we've got the upper class characters of Mrs. Roberts and Morgan. We've got Opal, who was a scholarship girl at a school, was, you know, surrounded by well-spoken children of gentlemen. And then, you know, through unfortunate circumstances, ended up having to work in a factory and be a factory girl. So I feel like we have kind of like all of the different parts of society there and the different ends of society, which I think is really interesting. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. It's a time period actually that is, that, like I've been saying, is absolutely fascinating. And I might have to go and look up some more 1910s books because I'm interested. It's a period that I feel like I do know. I remember I studied World War One literature when I was doing my A-levels, and post A-levels and sort of early 20s, I really did get into my World War One literature. It was a time period that I really enjoyed. I feel like World War Two literature is more popular, but World War One I enjoy more than World War Two in terms of the literature. But like I said, I haven't come across any children's literature from that period. So if you do know any, please do let me know. Part of me, while I think the ending is heartbreaking, I think it's realistic, unfortunately. And I think it's fair, unfortunately. Also, I like that there was just this poignancy and kind of fatality, I guess, of the way, I'm assuming that, you can probably guess that one of the characters who we didn't want to die died. The character died by being shot by a sniper in 1915 trying to rescue someone else, which is just such like a kind of pointless way of dying. And I quite like that Jacqueline Wilson chose to do that, because I feel like it would have been very easy to say he died in 1916 at the Somme, which I feel like is a trope that a lot of authors will use in World War One literature. They'll have their characters dying at the Somme because it's a battle that so many people recognise. So I do quite like that kind of poignancy and the pointlessness, that it was a sniper on a rescue mission while in 1915, it wasn't a big fancy battle, it wasn't a named event. Yeah, had a really, really good time. So, moving on from Opal. I like Opal. It's Tuesday night. I am going on holiday next week. I leave on Friday. I have not packed. I have a friend coming over tomorrow. And on Thursday I need to drive down to Devon with Bella and Bracken, and because my parents are pet sitting. Which means that I am wrapping this vlog up now. I'm not going to get to another book. I have got Sapphire Battersea, which is the sequel to Hetty Feather, but I'm not going to get to that one this week. It is now on my shelf. I am excited to read it at some point, but yeah, it's not going to be now. But yeah, if you did like this video, please do let me know. Let me know if you've read any historical fiction from Jacqueline Wilson, and what your favourites are. If you've read any of the ones that I've mentioned in this vlog, please do let me know. Let me know your thoughts on them as well. If you like this video, please leave me a like, subscribe down below. If you don't have anything to say but you'd like to leave me a comment, leave me a sweet emoji for Opal, because she works in the sweet factory. Look at all the sweeties. And I think that's all of the things I have to say at the end of a video. I've forgotten. So I will see you in the next one. Bye.